Hey everyone, welcome to my channel for the love of sports. Today we'll be going over the ATP tennis predictions for the two tournaments in the grass. We are now in a new surface, so very exciting. This picture here is when Tiafoe won at Stuttgart. I was actually pretty impressed with Frances Tiafoe in the French Open. I covered, bet him a couple times in there, and he was pretty impressive. So let's see how you can do on the grass this season. Just kind of recapping a little bit on the French Open. We were very good on the French Open, and just recently in general, we've been extremely hot. We did take Carlos Alcaraz to win the French Open. Wow, that was, maybe one of the best matches I've seen. Um, Carlos Alcaraz is down 2-0, has not won a set yet. He goes down in the third set, a break. He comes back, he wins the third set, wins the fourth set, and takes the fifth set after leading that set 4-1, I believe. Sinner is able to tie it up 4-4. They go to tie break, and Alcaraz just puts on the display. Man, he is just hitting winners everywhere, and it's not like Sinner is making easy shots for him. You know, Alcaraz, like I said before, in the clay, he's just a different monster. He's just a different beast. Um, let's see how it transitions to the grass surface. Um, just quickly, we're gonna go over the recap. So we're not gonna go line item by line item because there's a lot of line items. But if you've been keeping track of the channel, um, I haven't been able to make videos recently, but I've been making posts pretty much every day. And if you've been tailing these posts, you've been very profitable, just as I've been. As you can see, out of all these plays here, I've only lost 4 bets. And out of the last week and a half, I'm up over $700 in profit. So it's been really good. Let's hope to keep it going. The Panthers, we do have one outstanding bet, and it's the Panthers to win the series. They're up 2-1. They just won the third game tonight. We actually took them on the money line too, and that hit. We took a couple bets today in the tennis. 2 out of the 3 hit. Radio Opelka and the Challenger let us down, but the other 2 did hit. And Sam Bennett in the NHL did get 1 point. He got another goal. He's on an insane run. It's the third time we took that prop, and it's hit every single time. So we didn't find anything in the MLB, but that's not to say we won't find anything tomorrow. I'll most likely post the NHL or MLB picks in the post section. I'll only be making videos on the tennis bets so far. All right, let's get to it. Before we start, let's go over the betting spreadsheet by sport. So as you can see here, we're profitable in every sport except the NBA. And honestly, the NBA, we have only had 4 bets. We haven't had much traffic there. We kind of got in at the end of the season in the NBA, and I haven't been keeping track as much as I like to feel confident in betting. The MLB, we bet a lot more recently. We're over $300 in profit. NHL almost $500 in profit, mostly on the Panthers, honestly, and Sam Bennett. And then the tennis bets were up over $800 in profit, which is our most traffic in terms of plays. So as you can see here, we're up almost $1,600 in profits. That's almost 16 units. So we're doing very good. We got the first tournament here. We have Mackenzie McDonald versus Mattia Bellucci. Before I go any further, just as a reminder, I do post my best bets at the end of every video and also on the comment section below. So if you're in a time crunch, you don't have time to watch the whole video, that's okay. And yeah, let's get started. So Mackenzie McDonald versus Mattia Bellucci. Bellucci does lead the head-to-head 1-0. Um, this is kind of a toss-up, to be honest. Neither player has been too good in terms of form. Um, with the Bellucci leads the head-to-head, I would lean Bellucci. I think he is a little bit more talented than Mackenzie McDonald, even though I would like my fellow American to win. I do think Matteo Bellucci is just a little bit better. I do think he can win on the surface. So I would lean that way. But let's see if we add it later on. Next we have Zizu Bergs versus Alexander. I don't know how to say his last name. Alexander Blokix or Blocks. If anybody knows how to pronounce this, let me know in the comments section. This is their first meeting. I'd have to lean Zizu Bergs. He has not been good recently. He just struggled on the clay, really. In the beginning of the season on the hard court, it was pretty good. On the clay surface, has not been good to him. I would have to lean Zuzu Bergs here. I think he is a more talented player. Um, Even though his opponent could handle himself, he won a tough match against Adrian Manorino, I believe. And and he won in the third set on a tie break. So he's a he's not a pushover, but I do think Zuzu Bergs takes this one down. Next we have Otto Virtanen versus Thomas Martin Echeverri. Echeverri does lead 1-0 in the head-to-head, but this is not the same kind of surface. Echeverri more of a clay court player. Also Virtanen, this is kind of where he would excel, honestly, where his serve can become potent. I would have to lean Virtanen here. It wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world if Echeverri is able to pull off a 3-set win. Um, but Virtanen should get this one done. Next, we have Roddy Opelka versus Desperate Jujong. After Opelka's let us down the Challenger event, I don't think I really want to touch this one. Um, I would have to lean Opelka here again. I do think his serve, should be good on the surface. He just wasn't that good in the Challenger event. He just really wasn't. Desperate Jujong, he's had his moments at times this season. He beat Joao Fonseca, but yeah, this one's a toss up. Honestly, I would stay away from this one if I were you guys. This is the second hand of that slate. We have Rinky versus Daniel Evans. Daniel Evans. Okay, Rinky is favored minus 170 the last time I checked. Daniel Evans, though, he's pretty good on the surface, man. He's not bad on the surface. He does lead the head to head. So I would lean Daniel Evans here, honestly, and it could be some good plus money value. I did watch a couple of the challenger events of Rinky. I wasn't too, extremely impressed. He won the games he was supposed to, but that game against Colton Smith, I mean, way too many mistakes, and he had a lot of break point opportunities, and he failed, and um, I think Daniel Evans could get this one done, honestly. Next, we have Roberto Batista Agut versus Hubert Hurkacz. The head-to-head is surprisingly 3-3, but Hurkacz has won the last three games, the last three matches. It makes sense. Agut is getting older, you know. Um, this is Hubert Hurkacz. Honestly, I'll be really surprised if he loses this one. He's won the last three head-to-head matchups, and he's just a better overall player right now. Batista Agut is, he's older. He's not gonna be able to move as much, and Hurkacz's serve should be a problem for him. Next, we have Laszlo Jetty versus Mark Lajal. Um, Lajal is the one that is favored in this. Jetty was good on the clay. Jetty was good on the clay, but this is a new surface. Um, I gotta see Jetty be able to compete on the grass. I gotta be able to see him, compete on the grass before I could make a bet on him. I know it's plus money. It's kind of enticing, and Lajal is rated a lot higher than him. But the fact that the odds are as they are kind of explains the situation that Jede he's got to show that he can win outside of the clay. I'm not gonna touch this one. I will stay tuned though if Jede does win this game. Next we have Adrian Manorino versus Christopher O'Connell. Both players have been in awful form this season. We faded at Adrian Manorino in one of the challenger events, and that ended up working out for us pretty well. Christopher O'Connell, he's just also not been good. He was not good in the clay. Neither player is on good form this season. This is just a absolute mess of a play. Manorino does have the only head to head, and honestly, on this surface, Manorino's probably a little bit better. So I would lean Manorino, but I am not touching him in the form that he's in. And O'Connell either. I can't do either one, honestly. Then we have the ATP Stuttgart, the second tournament here. We have Demir versus Pierre Puig Herbert. Demir's leading the head-to-head 2-1. He should get this one done. Demir's serve is pretty good. I know Herbert's serve isn't bad as well. But I think Demir's game was just a little bit better overall. 2-1 head to head, so he has a slight lean in the head to head. Let's see if we'll play this one. I haven't decided yet. Next, we have Chapo versus Arthur Rinderknech. Chapo leads the head to head 2-1. I know Rinderknech was able to take one of those head to head games, but he's been in really bad form this season. He has not been impressive by any means, and Chapo on this surface can be very dangerous. We all know about his serve. We know he can be very potent on this surface as well. And Rinderknech's form, we know we know how it is, and we're gonna fade him until it goes wrong for us. So we'll take Chapo here. Yannick Hoffman versus Martin Fucsovics. I would have to go Martin here. I don't really trust Yanfman that much. Um, I don't love this one entirely, to be honest, and Martin is a pretty heavy favorite. I do think he should get this one done, but I'm not paying that premium. Next, we have Justin Engel versus James Duckworth. James Duckworth is heavily favored here, and I think it's for a reason. I think it's just a matter of levels. Justin Engel is a wild card, and there's just levels to this, and I do think James Duckworth takes this one down without too much trouble. Honestly, it should be straight sets. Or we have our last four matchups here of the Stuttgart tournament. We have Quentin Hallis versus Lorenzo Sonego. Um, Sonego does have the win, but it's on the clay surface, different kind of player on that surface. Quentin should be able to get this one done. His serve and his style of play definitely is better in the grass. Sonego also has not been in the best of form recently. So I would go Quentin here if I had to take it. Does he have Lerner Tien versus Nishioka? I have not been impressed with Tien since the beginning of the season. Honestly, since like Medvedev, that win against Medvedev, I just haven't. And I know I continue to say this in all my videos, but he just hasn't shown it to me. He hasn't shown it to me, and until he shows it to me, I just can't take him, especially not minus 200. I know he should win this one against Nishioka, but just can't touch it here. And Nishioka, there's no reason to really take him either. He hasn't been particularly impressive, by any means. So not gonna take this one. Next, we have Fabio Fognini versus Corentin Moutet. Moutet should get this one done. Fognini, he's old man. He's not playing well. Honestly, he's not. Even in his home court, he didn't play well. I think Moutet should be able to get this one done without too much trouble. Lastly, we have Alex Mikkelsen versus Galma Fils. This is their first meeting. Um, Galma Fils, he struggled a little bit with his health in the French Open, but he was able to take down, come back from that. Actually, we did have Monfils in our plays in the French Open, and he did win that matchup, but then he lost, rightfully so, against his next opponent. Um, Alex Mikkelsen, we know that he's not that great on the clay. We saw that, but on the grass, stands more of a chance, definitely. This is a tough one because Galmofis hasn't really had much success in the grass either, especially recently. Um, Maybe lean Mickelson here. I could see Mickelson winning this one. Galmofis could be a little fatigued from the French Open. He's an older player. Mickelson's fresh, um, and this surface should benefit him too. I'll take Mickelson here. Fellow American, why not? All right, and then I figured I start adding this. Whenever I see a good play or a couple good plays, any of these challenger events, I do tune into tennis here and there when I can with the challenger events. So we have Xiang versus Federico Arnaboldi. If you haven't seen or you haven't noticed, Xiang has been on a heater. Um, and on this surface, he should be really good. I do expect him to get this one done over Arnaboldi. Next, we have Colton Smith versus Shintaro Mochizuki. Colton Smith does lead the head-to-head 1-0, and he should get this one done. Honestly, I watched him against Rinky, and I was really impressed. He saved his break points. His serve was really nice on the surface, on the grass, and he's been really impressive this season. If you look at his overall record, it's very impressive. Um, yeah, I mean, I would have to go Colton Smith here until he proves me otherwise. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys now my three best bets. So I do have three best bets in the tennis today. My first two are gonna be in the ATP tournaments, and the last one's gonna have to do with the Challenger. So the first ATP bet, we're gonna have a two-leg parlay of James Duckworth money line and Hubert Hurkacz money line. This is for minus 124, pretty solid price. Duckworth going against Justin Angle should be a pretty easy match for him. Not to say any opponent is easy, but it's just levels of this, and Duckworth is just he's a level above him. And Hurkacz against Batista Agut, Hurkacz should be able to get this one done. Batista Agut again, he's just a little bit older, harder for him to move around as much, and I trust Hurkacz and his serve here. Next we have Chapo and Corentin Moutet money line. Chapo going against Rinderknech and Moutet going against. I'm blanking. Who's Moutet going against? Oh, sorry for that, guys. All right, I totally spaced out. Fabio Fognini. So Moutet versus Fognini. We're taking Moutet and Chapo. Chapo should get it done versus Rinderknech. We talked about that one for a little bit. Rinderknech form has been horrible, and Chapo should be pretty good on the surface. Corentin Moutet is a solid player, and Fognini has struggled heavily recently. So that's our second play. That's for minus 102. Again, it's Chapo money line and Moutet money line. And the last one, we're gonna go into the Challenger. We're gonna take these two favorites that I like. I like Xiang and Colton Smith money line. So both of them on the money line, minus 151. So it's a little bit of juice, but anything under minus 160, 170 is okay for me. So I'll go a little bit higher sometimes, but minus 151, good enough price for me to take. So please make sure to tune into the channel. I'm going to be posting videos a lot more frequently now. I was on vacation and then had to catch up with a lot of work. But make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you see my videos, and then keep track of the post section. That's where I'm going to post my other sports bets. And then you can track those there and you can tail them and let me know what you think. All right, guys, like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.